out of this world, there'll be a one more behind.
Back with another edition of Fish Notes. This is going to be a little bit different from the previous weeks because I have some topics of safety and professionalism to talk about. But before I get into that, just a few quick things. Remember, it's the week before Thanksgiving. Special order books should start to be filling in now. Make sure you're keeping up with them. Make sure we're doing good holiday prep, stocking our freezers, making our boxes, and being ready to capture all the opportunity we got coming our way next week. So just that's a quick, simple note for that. But let's get right into the things I want to talk about today. Really, I just want to reiterate what it means to be safe, professional at Seaview Crab Company. And a few bare bones ideas. Number one, we're dealing with knives. We cut fish. You've got to be mindful of your knives. And if you're not, if you haven't had training on fish cutting, do not start cutting fish. But if you are a seasoned fish cutter, remember always to keep sharp knives. Sharp knives help prevent accidents. And you should always be cutting away from your body and keep clean cutting boards. When you're cutting fish, it's not like I'm the butchering stuff up. You keep a clean, the best fish cutters I see keep clean workstations, sharp knives, and smart, deliberate cuts. And that's important in our game. We're not here to, just chop stuff up. We're here to be safe and to make food for people so it's easier for people to eat. So that's an easy thing to think about. Number two, fish house movements. There's lots of ways to have accidents in the fish houses. We've got wet, we've got heavy things, wet things, sharp things, and rusty things. So when you're working in that fish house, you don't want to just be unconsciously moving around, stepping, stumbling. You need to know that you're doing conscious work. What that means, think about what you're doing when you're doing it. You don't just clock in at this market. You've got to be aware of your movements. Keep gloves, boots on when you're working in these environments. Protect your hands and your feet, and always aim to be safe. Don't be the hard, tough guy, woman trying to do stuff on your own. Ask for help. Be smart. We don't want accidents. Number three, fish house. Some things in the fish house work. More specifically, pallet jacks. When you're going through a door and don't lead with your forks. Always pull the pallets in, because you're not going to, and always make sure your way is clear and safe. You have someone working with you to make sure, especially when you have big pallets, heavy stuff coming through the door. Don't just move in quickly without thinking or knowing, because that's another easy way for accidents to happen. Lifting. Y'all, when you go to lift, never lift with your back. You lift with your hips and your legs. And if you're not sure how to do that, YouTube some videos on safe lifting, because that's an easy way to pull a muscle. Any ways you can screw up lifting things. We're not here to be tough guys and gals. We're here to lift smart, do smart work. And I've already mentioned this before. Gloves and good boots. That's going to keep your hands and feet dry and clean from getting infections and everything else. Mindful hands. That means when you're working with your hands, you're thinking. You're not just doing. We have to be thinker-doers at Seaview Crab Company. We do a lot more than we can because we're smart like that. If we turn into the type of company that does McDonald's work without thinking, and trusting our workers to be smart and conscious, we're doing our company culture a disservice. Vehicles. We've had a few accidents in the past year. If you're ever driving around the roads, it's a dangerous place. I'm not saying it's our fault when we get in accidents, but we have to be defensive drivers, slow drivers. There's no need to be speeding. There's no need to be running red lights. You drive slow, and you're transporting fish, which means you're not you're texting on the phone, that sort of thing. You're trying to get the fish, the seafood, where it needs to be in the safest way possible. Basically driving for safety and not for speed, which is the same thing with lifting, cutting fish, moving about the fish house. You're moving consciously and safely. We've got things in this organization as we grow to try to keep our culture that way and not have a bunch of rogue workers doing what they want. We use bitter end checklist. We use work checklist. We use, just like I talked about in our last video, reporting or reading the order back to the customer. These are all checks and balances on our work so that we do the right things at the right times mindfully. Hold on just a second. Here's the thing. We are a small business, but we have a big stretch. We have a lot of people leading. We have a lot of people working. We have a lot of people fishing for us, but we're still a small business with small culture. But as we grow, we have to remain profitable and we have to spread this system we have out. But if we don't have the right internal workings, we will not make that goal happen. So just remember when you're working, when you're interacting with customers, that you keep these things in mind. And it's important for our growth, for your safety, for our customers, for our fishermen that depend on us to sell their catch. Well, we have to be united in the way that we work in the fish house and ultimately interact with our customers. So let's just keep that in mind as we move on into this holiday. And remember, safe, conscious work, everybody. Thank you.
Night is young and so am I, and we can dress real neat from our hearts to our feet and surprise them with a victory cry. Say, we can act if we want to, if we don't, nobody will. And you cannot feel good and totally remember like an act for your imbecile.